What's critical thing when you hear that term? What is that?
I was thinking of putting multiple solutions to solve one single problem.
A lot of solutions.
How was it to volunteer the other day?
제가 볼런티어 했을 때 진짜 재밌었고요. 뭔가 되게 좋은 경험이 된 것 같아서 진짜 좋았습니다.
Yeah, dude, that disqualifies you, man. No, listen. You applied to be in the military academy. Dude, okay, I'm gonna do something with that, man. All right, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. Okay, we are headed off to class. And this is my street right here that I drive down every day in my Hyundai Santa Fe, straight from Korea. And right now is when I start to really empty my mind. Like I don't think about class at all. I don't want to think about what I'm doing. In fact, I often even kind of forget what I'm doing until the moment when I start class and I look at my sheet and I think, oh, okay, here's the topic, where it comes up on the overhead.
Why is that?
I think because I want to feel like I'm really creative. And I can be most creative when I'm being spontaneous. Spontaneity is the best thing. It's like improv. You know, I like to do improv. And so I trust my ability to come up with interesting thoughts or questions. And I was just kind of doing some final preparations on the class, and I thought of a couple really interesting questions that would be fun to ask students, but I thought, you know, and they're interesting in this moment, but when I'm standing in front of the class, it's very possible that I wouldn't find it interesting, so I didn't write them down to remember them. But I know that I'll come up with something, you know, so it's cool. In preparing every class, I'm in my office right here, just sitting at my desk, writing, taking some notes, playing with a PowerPoint, thinking, looking up data. And then, you know, it usually takes me a couple days to conceptualize a class. And then once I have it, I print everything out and, you know, put it all in my bag and drive up to campus. And the campus is about 1 mile from my house. So it's a very simple drive. And it's always such a good feeling when I'm going up there. You know, I feel like I'm doing this cool mission. Yeah, I look forward to it. I'm walking into this building here for 30 years, doing the same thing. It's crazy. I used to teach my class in this room when I first started teaching. And it's so much smaller. You can imagine. We used to have lots of conversations in here without a microphone because it's so much smaller. But everything changes. This semester will mark the end of my 43rd year of teaching. 43 years. And so I'm in my 42 and a half beginning. And it's really big because there are so many things happening in the world. I have so many topics to talk about that I'm having a very difficult time deciding what it is that I want to discuss in class. Now, these are all the students waiting here. Are students from my class. Yeah. Yo, what's up? This is the team.
Yeah. Are you recording lecture too?
This is what we do every day.
Go ahead.
These are the catacombs here, down below the classroom. Well, we all want to know, really, in a way, what's behind the scenes. Yeah. Here we are. Here's the team. Look at them. Yeah. This is the back room. Here it is, man. So there's a class going on right now. This is our stream getting ready to go. The class was called Sociology 19 going back maybe 50 years. That was the number that they gave to it at Penn State. It used to be called Race and Ethnic Relations in America. But I started teaching about the whole world, so I changed the title to Race, Ethnicity, and Culture in the World. That's where the title came from. SOC 119 means, SOC is for sociology. Yeah, so, and 119 is just a number that they gave to it. And it's interesting that it's also the number in Korea for the emergency number. Here it's 911 and there it's 119. And so maybe that's in a way what my class is. You know, my class is like, it's an emergency. Hey, to students, wake up, wake up, think for yourself. This is an emergency situation.
34 years. Dude, I didn't ask her because she's Asian, all right? Because she's going to be good at math, so just know that. Which is a stereotype anyway. Are you good at math, by the way? You said, I'm like, are you good at math? And you're like, Which means you probably scored like 800 on the SATs because you're Korean. So you're going to be like, you're going to downplay how good you are. Did you take the Sunin exam?
I did.
How'd you do on the math part?
I didn't do that good.
Yeah, okay, but what do you mean, what's not that good? The score's probably higher than 95% of the people in this room.
So it's the perfect score is 100.
Yeah.
And like I got 80 something.
80 something?
Yes.
Wait, 81 or 89? There's a big difference. Because she's going to downplay, all right, everything. Because she can't be like, yeah, I'm really smart. I'm really good at math, you know. 80 what?
But honestly, I'm really not that good.
All right, I can see it.
88.
88.
Usually what happens is some question will come into my mind and I'll wonder, I wonder what other people are thinking about that. And I wonder what my students are thinking about that, young people, you know. And then once it hooks in my mind, then I'm curious. I'm like, oh, God, I gotta ask them about this. The other day, I was looking at this information about how students around the world, how good they are at math. And I was thinking, I wonder what it's like for people in Singapore or China or Korea or a country where they're really good at math. Like, what does that mean for them? You know, like when you say, hey, I'm really good at math in Korea or in Singapore, does that mean the same thing that it means in the United States if someone says I'm really good at math? So that's just a question that came up in my mind, and I thought, oh my God, I get to go ask people this question. So that's how I come up with topics. One that I am is having a sense, like an intuitive sense of the questions that other people are interested in. So when I come up with a question and I think, whoa, that's a really interesting question, if it's something I'm going to talk about in class, I just know that people will be interested in the answer to this question. And so sometimes they're really issues that people fight a lot over, and sometimes they're just questions that people are curious about. And for me, an edgy topic is one that people are fighting about in the media somewhere in the world, either, you know, here in the United States or other places in the world, right? So I have to be really careful about so that I could easily say things that just inflame some group of people. Or I could ask a question to students and they would answer that question in a way that would really anger lots of people, you know. So I'm always trying to be careful about what those really, you know, edgy, I say the word edgy, those topics are, yeah. So this is the real behind the scenes. This is my locker. Hey, by the way, here's two different drawings that have been done by two different Koreans. Anyway, this is where I keep all of my goods. my microphone and where I kind of make everything happen behind the scenes. I think we are ready to rock and roll. Who are Bavik? Bavik, the guy that overcommits. All right. Okay, you're good. They'll give you a name tag.
Yeah, a lot more than anywhere I lived before that. Yeah. Interesting.
The point being, when I started teaching, I used to have, I'd have notes with things on them and like PowerPoint slides, and I'd put like a PowerPoint up. Then you would copy everything down, and then students, like in this class, and then I would read the next thing and you would copy it down. And I mean, it was just like, because I thought what students needed was information. And my job was to give you information. And because, I'm the professor, and so that's what I do. But then one day I was teaching, I was right up here, I think I was sitting on the table, and I was in the middle of reading notes, and I almost fell asleep. Like, I literally almost fell asleep. And I went, oh, hell no, man, I can't, I'm not doing this anymore. So everything just shifted. And then slowly I started realizing the magic, the awesomeness is here, not here. And now the class is built around you and not me. And my job is to ask questions. My job is to get volunteers from the class and bring you up, and then we have conversations. Okay?
And honestly, I don't know why more people don't teach the way I teach. Because we all know that students don't remember information. We give them, they copy information down, and they cram it into their minds, and they send it back to us on an exam, and then they empty their minds at the end of a semester. So I really started to ask my students lots of questions. And also, I was really bored talking. Like, when you talk, it gets kind of boring, but it's never boring to listen to students. I think one difference in my class is that students feel pretty comfortable to speak, and that's because they see me listening to them and not judging them, not telling them that they're right or that they're wrong. And as long as I don't do that, and they see that I am deeply interested in what they have to say, then they're much more open about talking. And they will talk to the world. And the more I talk to them about the fact that the cameras are in the room and people are watching from around the world, and people around the world want to hear what they have to say, the more my students want to volunteer and participate and have a conversation with the world. I don't have any way of thinking about the world that I think my students should adopt. There's nothing at all. My job as a teacher is to ask every question. And at this point in my life, after 42 and a half years of teaching, I really don't have anything that I want to teach people. I want to create a space where they can teach one another.
You visited Korea a couple of times. Would you want to try these kind of classes in Korea as well?
So I've been to Korea 15 times, right? And growing. Each time has been an awesome experience. I really want to bring Social 19 to the Korean classroom and invite Koreans to come and participate, to volunteer, to come up on stage. We've done this already at Konkuk University, and we did it with high school students and undergraduate students from Konkuk. And it's really fascinating. But I want to do it also with adults. So I'd like to bring a wide range of Koreans together in a room and have these conversations and film it. And have Lori there, and together we ask questions, because she's really good at asking questions. Here's a message for Koreans, anybody who's watching this. I really want to come and do some Social 19 classes in Korea and have this experience and have Koreans volunteer, invite them on stage, and have these kinds of open conversations, and give myself the opportunity to ask questions and see what people say. Young people, middle-aged people, and older people, Koreans of all backgrounds. So what would be really cool is if you could say in the comments, if you're watching this, to say, hey, that would be really interesting. First off, is it interesting? Secondly, would you come? Third, would you volunteer? Do you think you might volunteer? And fourth, are there any topics that you feel like, oh, this would be a really cool topic for Sam Richards to talk about in Korea with a Korean audience?